Good afternoon. Today I'm back for some reading instruction, and I'm going to be reading the informational text, Earthquakes, Eruptions, and Other Events That Change Earth. We're going to be reading this informational text together, and we are going to look at our anchor chart first that is located on page 473 of our My View book. You can follow me along on My View. And right now we are on page 473. Okay, so let's look at our anchor chart. It says informational text anchor chart. We're going to look at the text structure, and we've already done this in class. We talked about the different text structures that the author uses when writing an informational text. He can use time order, which is the signal words for time order would be first, next, before, after, and finally. He can use the text structure compare and contrast, which is the signal words for that would be likewise, similarly, however, on the other hand. He can use the text structure cause and effect, and the signal words for that would be because, consequently, if then, and therefore. He can use the text structure problem and solution, and the signal words for that would be leads to, as a result, and thereby. And the last type of text structure they can use is description. The signal word for description would be most important, for example, and in addition. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn to page 476, and we're going to start reading. We see some text features there. Follow me here. We are on page 476 and 477. That's where we're going to start. I see a photograph there. Okay, let's look at the first part of the text. It says, planet of change. Earth's surface is always changing. Most of these changes happen slowly. They can take hundreds or even thousands of years. Some changes, however, happen quickly. In fact, Earth's surface can change in a matter of minutes, hours, or days. Big changes. Natural disasters such as earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis can happen without warning. They can change Earth's surface in a big way very quickly. An earthquake's shaking can create large holes or cracks in the land. A volcano's hot lava can create new landforms when cooled. The wall of water from a tsunami can destroy forests, roads, and buildings. Now let's look at page 476, okay? And it's telling us, let's go ahead and analyze the text structure for this page. It says analyze sentences that help you recognize a cause and effect text structure. So what is a cause and effect? The signal words for cause and effect was because, consequently, if then, therefore. So do we see that? Do we see any of the signal words there? Let's see. Let's go back and look. I don't see none of the signal words, but I do see on the second paragraph where it says the cause and effect. So what effects do the volcanoes, tsunamis, and earthquakes have on the earth? Well, it tells you there. What are the effects of it? It can create large holes or cracks in the land. A volcano's hot lava can create new landforms. When cooled, the wall of water from a tsunami can destroy forests, roads, and buildings. So those are cause and effects. Okay, so right there on that page, the author used the cause and effect text structure. Let's keep going to page 477 here. They're going to be talking about the layers, and they give you a picture of the earth to help you understand what the author is talking about. He labeled the picture of the earth. It shows you the inner core, the outer core, the mantle, and the crust. right here. So let's go ahead and read about the layers. It says Earth is not a solid ball. If you were to cut our planet open, you would see it is made up of 4 layers. The inner core is at the center. It is a solid ball of metal. Around this inner core is the outer core. This layer is liquid metal. The next layer is called the mantle. The mantle is made of solid rock and minerals, and then the top layer is the crust. Okay, and the author showed us there the picture of the different layers. Turning the page, we're on page 478. On here, they're showing you a photograph. It says rocky crust. The crust is the thinnest layer. It is made of rock. This is the layer that we live on. The rocks and minerals in the crust are shaped into landforms. Low landforms fill with water to make lakes, rivers, and oceans. Earth's processes are always at work changing the crust. It says, highlight details in paragraph 4 that help you explain how the crust is different from other layers of Earth. How is it different? So let's go ahead. If you have a highlighter, you can highlight it. Or if you want to underline it with your pencil, you can do that as well. It tells us how is it different. It says, you're going to have to underline the rocks and minerals in the crust are shaped into landforms. Low landforms fill with water to make lakes, rivers, and oceans. Earth's processes are always at work changing the crust. So that is the difference between this layer and the other ones. This one has landforms and they have water. They have water that make lakes, rivers, and oceans. Okay. Going to page 479, they have a map there of the different continents. And now we're going to be talking about earthquakes. Earth's crust is divided into plates. A plate is a huge sheet of rock. The plates fit together like big puzzle pieces to form the surface. The plates are moving and rubbing against each other very slowly. Sometimes the edge of one plate is pushed under another plate. This causes an earthquake. During an earthquake, the ground shakes suddenly. Moving and shaking. Earthquakes happen around the world every day. Most are not strong enough to cause any damage. Some, however, can cause the ground to shake violently. During these strong earthquakes, buildings can crumble and fall, and roads can crack and split. Okay, and they're showing you a picture. It says Earth's plates can also push together and cause the rock to bend and fold. This process can create mountains. So those are how mountains are formed. That's pretty cool, guys. On here it says use context clues beyond the sentence to determine the meaning of violently. So let's go back and look at where the word violently is at. Trying to go back. Right here. It says, earthquakes happen around the world every day. Most are not strong enough to cause any damage. Some, however, can cause the ground to shake violently. During these strong earthquakes, buildings can crumble and fall, and roads can crack and split. So, what context clues help us know what violently means? Well, it's telling us that the roads can crack and split, so that means it makes a big impact. So that's what violently means. Okay, so we're using the context clues in the text to help us understand what the word violently means. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to go to the next one. Is landslides on page 480, and there's a picture of a landslide. It says, during a landslide, rocks and soil suddenly break loose and slide down hills or mountains. Landslides can happen for different reasons. Rivers can eat away at the base of hills and mountains, causing the earth above to fall. Heavy rains can also cause landslides when wet soil turns to mud. The slippery mud will then move downhill quickly. Slipping and sliding. Landslides can be as small as a few large rocks rolling down a hill. They can also be as large as the whole side of a mountain sliding away. The biggest landslides can move a lot of ground very quickly. They change the shape and size of landforms. They fill valleys with soil and rocks. Landslides can happen underwater too. Earthquakes can shake rocks and soil loose and cause a landslide. Okay? Page 481, we're going to talk about volcanoes. And there's a picture, a photograph of a volcano, and it is in Hawaii. And it's been erupting since 1983. That is 2 years before I was born, boys and girls. So volcanoes. A volcano is an opening in Earth's crust where hot melted rock and ash from inside Earth erupts or shoots out. Some eruptions happen once every few years and last only a couple of hours. Other volcanoes continue erupting for weeks, months, or even years. Melting rocks. Volcanoes reshape Earth's surface. When the lava shoots out of the volcano, it flows down the side and over the land below. The lava is so hot that it can melt rock. Boulders and hills can melt away. When the lava cools, it hardens into new rock. This new rock is full of minerals. After a few years, the new rock breaks down and turns into rich farmland. So volcanoes can also help us, boys and girls. And also it says highlight 2 sentences in the text that you can use to explain why volcanoes might affect where farmers grow their crops. So it's talking about how here it says after a few years the new rock breaks down and turns into rich farmland. That means that that's where the farmers would want to grow their crops, because now they're going to have good farmland so they can grow their crops. Okay, we're moving on to page 482. We're going to talk about volcanic islands and tsunamis. Tsunamis are my favorite. So we're on page 482 and 483. We're almost done. Let's go ahead and look at volcanic islands. Volcanoes can create new islands. When a volcano erupts, lava flows out of it. Some volcanoes erupt underwater. As they erupt over and over, the lava cools and builds up a cone-shaped mountain around the opening. When the mountain gets big enough, it breaks through the surface of the water, creating an island. Making islands. The Hawaiian Islands are volcanic islands found in the Pacific Ocean. The islands are the peaks of large mountains, formed under the oceans by volcanic eruptions. Some Hawaiian island volcanoes are no longer erupting. Others are still active and creating new land. In that photograph on the bottom, boys and girls, it says the Stromboli volcano has been erupting for at least 2,000 years. Wow, that's a long, long time. Let's go ahead and move on to tsunamis. It says a tsunami is a giant wave. Tsunamis are caused by changes in the ocean floor. Underwater earthquakes, landslides, and volcanic eruptions can all cause tsunamis. The force from these natural disasters can make the water rise. This will start a wave that speeds through the water until it reaches land. Wall of water. A tsunami is one of the most damaging forces on Earth. It can race toward land as fast as a jet plane. It can wipe out villages and even islands. It can move soil and rocks as much as 620 miles. Wow. Page 484 and 485. Building up and tearing down. Earth's processes can build up and tear down landforms. Landslides change the shape of hills and mountains. Tsunamis eat away at the land along the coast. Volcanoes build up Earth's surface and earthquakes tear it down. are changing Earth. These changes can threaten the lives of people, plants, and animals, but they are also a chance for new life to grow. New landforms become homes of plant and animals. New mineral-rich soil produces food to feed people around the world. On the bottom, boys and girls, there's a photograph of the island of Iceland. Is growing larger each year and has many active volcanoes. The lava from these volcanoes create new land. So these different types of Earths. Let me go back over here because I need to look. Of natural disasters, boys and girls, all the natural disasters that we've been talking about, they are bad for us, but then they're also good for us. So what I want you to do, after I finish, I have one more page. I want you to tell me, well, how are they good for us and how are they bad for us? And then I also want you to come up with a list of natural disasters that happen in our community. There's a couple that we have had, and I want you to write them down. I want you to tell me why natural disasters are good and why are they bad. Okay? Why are they helpful? Why are they not helpful? Or how do they hurt us? Okay? And then I want you to talk about the different natural disasters that we have here in our community. Now, it says discovering new information about natural disasters can help save people's lives. Okay? So here we see a photograph of a man working. He is on page 485. The subtitle is called On the Job. Scientists have a lot to learn about Earth's processes. This was the word. It's seismologist or seismologist. It was the E, the long E. Seismologists are people who study earthquakes. They want to learn when and where earthquakes will happen. Volcanologist, that one's a hard one. Volcanologist are people who study volcanoes. They are looking for signs of a coming eruption. They study the buildup of pressure under the ground. And these people, boys and girls, work for our safety. They want to make sure they know if something is coming, just like our meteorologists. They inform us when they think a hurricane will hit our community. So they are being very helpful, and they are allowing us and giving us time to prepare for these natural disasters that are coming our way. So I want to look at that word again. It's seismologist. Remember we talked about that in our vocabulary. We talked about, well, actually, we were talking about the spelling, and I wanted to look at it again because I want to show you that that word was on our it makes the long I. It was on page 492, seismologist. It makes the long I sound, and I wanted to say seismologist, but it's actually seismologist, and it makes the long I sound. It says the multisyllabic word seismologist in paragraph 17 of Earthquakes, Eruptions, and Other Events That Change Earth has a vowel pattern EI. The EI makes the long I, so it's seismologist. Say that with me. Seismologist. These are some big words, boys and girls. You don't really hear them often. And a seismologist are the people that study the earthquakes. And then we have I can't say this word, volcanologist. Volcanologist. That one's a hard one too. And those are the people that study volcanoes, okay? And a meteorologist, which is the one that we're more accustomed to hearing, are the people that study the weather and let us know when we're having big thunderstorms, when we're having snow. You know, if we ever get snow in South Texas, they prepare us for hurricanes and so forth, okay? So these are the different people that study. So what we're going to do, again, you're going to tell me, you're going to get a piece of paper and you're going to tell me why natural disasters are good for us and why natural disasters are not good for us. Why are they hazardous? And then you're going to talk about the different natural disasters that we have in our community. Okay? Thank you for joining me today, boys and girls. Have a good day.